I first noticed this princess tree, which is also known as the Empress Tree, as I explored a remote part of the Smith campus in April. Fortunately, the college usually labels their plants, so I was able to learn its identity. The genus name, Paulownia, was chosen by a botanist to honor the Russian princess Anna Pavlovna after she married into the Dutch royal family. Several species of Paulownias exist, but unfortunately, this particular one, tomentosa, is considered invasive. These trees were imported to the United States from Asia in the early 1800s. One reason this princess might be called a royal pain is that they spread into disturbed areas, are extremely fast-growing, and limit the growth of native plants. And yet, their fresh leaves quickly absorb carbon dioxide to purify the air. Plus, when they decompose, they help fix nitrogen in the soil. More about them later. According to traditional Chinese medicine, other parts of the tree, including bark and flowers, have benefits. They produce numerous offshoots at their base. These holes are what remain after the shoots have been removed to stop their spread. This escapee from the mother tree grew by these stairs next to a railing shaped like a pea, perfect for Paulownia. But a vigilant college landscaper cut it down. All that's left is a little branch and part of the root. It's important to point out the striking dichotomy between Western cultures, where some species of these trees are viewed as problematic, and Asian cultures, where the same trees are treated with reverence. Japanese and Chinese legends describe the mythical phoenix as only resting on this tree. It was believed that both bird and tree were sacred symbols of longevity and good fortune. In Japan, their imagery appears frequently on finely crafted lacquerware, and a stylized image of the tree is featured on their government's emblem. Not only are the flowers and leaves appreciated, but wood from the tree is too. It's high quality and ideal for furniture making or other projects, since it's lightweight, doesn't warp, and typically is insect-free. Its resonance makes it ideal for the creation of traditional musical instruments, like the Koto in Japan, Gayageum and Gyeomungo in Korea, and the Guzheng in China. A wonderful combination of Eastern and Western music can be found on the YouTube page of Chinese musician Mu Yin. One example is her cover of the iconic song Hotel California by the Eagles, which she performed on the Guzheng, a perfect illustration of how music is a universal language. The tree I found was exceptionally tall and towered above the buildings behind it. Dried seed pods were scattered around the bottom, and some still clung to the branches. Hundreds of these remain on the tree throughout the fall and winter, and each one is filled with many tiny seeds. Remnants of open pods litter the ground. Gather some of the dry branches to make an attractive bouquet. I found these small Paulownia flower bud branches beneath the tree after a windstorm in mid-March. The buds are tan and have a soft, velvety texture. They overwinter on the tree and develop into flowers in early spring. I placed a couple in water to see if they'd bloom, but they were too immature to produce any flowers. Later, I saw clusters of pale lavender flowers. These tubular blossoms are about 2 inches long with 5 lobes and are ready to collect in mid-May. These early blooms, with a flash of bright yellow in the center, are a welcome sign to pollinators searching for nectar, and for me too. since I suspected they might be edible or medicinal. The flowers slightly resemble those of toxic foxgloves, but those are herbaceous plants, not trees, so there shouldn't be any confusion. The only flowers I could get were those that had fallen onto hosta leaves, or a few I found on the ground. Often wind and rain may cause them to fall. Fortunately, hosta leaves acted as a blanket to catch the fallen blossoms. I wish the branches were lower, but the dropped ones were my best option, since I didn't dare climb the tree to find any more. I tried a raw blossom to test my body's reaction and had no problem. Its taste was mild. They should be eaten in moderation, so I had just a few. I tore them into small pieces and added them to my spring salads. This was a visual treat. Paulownia honey is popular with beekeepers because of its fragrant and subtle taste. It's highly valued in several European and Asian countries, but isn't widely available here in the U.S. yet. The deciduous leaves emerge after most of the flowers appear. These grow opposite each other and become quite large. When they're very young, they're soft and velvety, but as they grow larger, they look and feel different. The leaves are beneficial as a feed for livestock and are used as a green fertilizer. They can also be applied to bruises, and their juices may help treat warts. Perhaps you have one of these distinctive trees where you live, and maybe you're aware of some of their gifts. I'd love to hear your stories.